Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Crooked Illness. As you guys can see from the title of today's episode, Overcome Darkness and Prosper, we are going to be focusing on tackling challenges and coming out stronger and wiser. Here to make this conversation awesome is my beautiful guest, Anya Halama. Anya is a published author, graphic designer, and success coach who hosts the Spirituality for Badass Babes podcast. I'm so excited to have Anya here with us today to share her story and dive into the meaning behind today's episode title. So, without further ado, welcome Anya to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Paris. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I'm super excited to share with your audience this beautiful, lavish life that I live now. However, I wasn't always there. There had to be some darkness to overcome that in order to become this beautiful beings that we all hope for and we all strive to become one day. And I've made it, and it's so exciting. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. I'm so excited to have you here today because you guys, I just recorded an episode yesterday for her podcast that I will be sure to share with everybody, which went amazing. So much fun. So I'm so excited to have her here today with us to get into her story. So before we go ahead and get right on into the topic of the episode, I would love if you could just kind of like give us a nice overview of your story and just tell us a little bit more of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, of course. So like Paris introduced me, I do a lot, which seems like a lot going in from a beginner's point of view, but it all is divinely guided and it was all meant to happen the way that it did happen. So a little bit of background about me. I actually started working corporate America I was there for about 10, 15 years, and I just absolutely hated my life. I hated corporate America. I hated that everything going along with it. So I took a 5-year break. I decided that screw this. I don't need any more monotony in my life. I packed up my bags. Within a week, I packed up my bags, sold everything, put everything in storage, quit my job, and went on this beautiful journey of travel. Which was crazy for me. I just took a leap of faith, but that is exactly what I needed to do. And if you read my book, I talk about doing crazy things all the time. So that was what I was guided to at the moment. And I went on this beautiful journey, which I didn't end up discovering myself, but that's exactly what I did. I didn't intend on going on this journey to discover myself and then bring in spirituality, all these healings and all these beautiful modalities, but that's exactly what happened. And then usually when you're not expecting something, that's when life gives you what it is that you need. They say when you're looking for a romantic partner, don't look for it. That's when it'll come, when you're not looking for them. That's exactly what happened to me with finding myself, with coming into my spirituality, learning all these healing modalities, and starting multiple businesses, which are soul aligned right now, which are all beautiful aligned. Back to the design though, I was doing corporate design for a very long time, took a break from it for those 5 years while I was traveling because I just hated monotony, but the divine always guides you the way that it's supposed to guide you. And I'm back doing design right now. However, it is only with soul aligned clients. I choose who I work with. I'm very happy with what I do. I have the divine guide me. It's all intuitive. It's super beautiful. And I'm so excited to share with everyone further and go deeper into everything else as well.
That is amazing. That's so beautiful. And yeah, like you guys heard in the intro, she's doing a lot, she's doing a lot, but it's all the stuff that she enjoys more than anything in the world and is so just excited about, like you guys heard her talk about, going from that corporate world where you said 10, 15 years, you were in 10, 15 years, right? And then transitioning over into doing all she's doing now, having this amazing book come out, and then also working with clients, doing graphic design, and also hosting her own podcast as well, among other things. So, this just really shows, you guys, if you have a passion for something or an interest in something, and, you do find yourself right now, like you are in the corporate world, but you're kind of questioning, whether or not you should go for it, you should make that leap, you should get into that stuff. This is really, she's truly a living testament to to making that happen. And that's a pretty wild journey, you know, to go from, you know, being in that position and then just leaving and then doing the travel. And that's amazing though. Like you've probably been to so many cool spots, and I would love to get into that too as well, and kind of see, you know, what that whole journey was like. But what I really want to talk about is your book. So Rebel's Guide to Spirituality is the title, you guys. So where did the inspiration behind the creation of the book stem from?
Yeah, so this was actually the funniest thing how it came about. So for the longest time, after I quit corporate America, I started a travel blog because I was traveling. All my friends wanted to see my travel photos. They're like, "Oh yeah, you should start a travel blog." I'm like, "I hate writing. Why would I start a travel blog?" But okay, I did. So I started a travel blog. It didn't last very long because again, I hated writing, so it didn't last very long. But I during quarantine, actually, I was meditating like 4 or 5 times a day because what else was I going to do? I was quarantined.
Right?
So I was meditating, and every single time I meditated for seriously a month, every single time I meditated, I heard the message write. I'm like, spirit, guides, universe, what do you want me to write? I'm a terrible writer. I think I'm a terrible writer, but that's again going into my limiting beliefs and my own mindset that I'm implementing upon myself. I'm like, spirit, what do you want me to write? Right. I was like, okay, I'll write a couple of social media posts. I'll write a blog post, share my story a little bit. What do you want me to write, universe? Tell me. So a couple weeks later, seriously, it was for a month straight, I was getting the message right. So I wrote a couple blog posts, couple social media posts, then I still kept getting right. I was getting frustrated with the universe at this point. I'm like, universe, tell me exactly what I need to do. Then I heard write a book. I was like, okay, well, I'm crazy probably right now because I'm not an author. I'm a terrible writer. I don't, at least I didn't think I was, but my audience will tell me otherwise. Again, that goes into limiting beliefs. So I was writing and I was listening to the universe. When I was in meditation, I heard write your story, write everything you've been through. You are on this planet to share those journeys, to share what you've overcame, the childhood trauma, the addictions, leaving corporate, and just taking that leap of faith. You are the living testimony, just like you were saying earlier. You are that testimony to it. So why not share that with the world? I was like, all right, universe. Okay, thank you. I think I could do this now. Thank you for giving me that
Oh,
support. Thank you,
I love
universe.
that. I love it so much. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it was funny actually. I was on a massage table one day, 2 days after I heard the message write a book, literally like 2 days afterwards, I was in a massage table getting a massage. And when you're in pleasure, when you're in flow, that's when the best messages come for you because you're having fun, and it all goes down to having fun. So I was in flow, I was relaxed, getting out this beautiful massage on a massage table, and then I heard the name of the book, Rebel's Guide to Spirituality. I'm like, I know exactly what I need to do now. Like, I've never written a book before. This has never came to me before. I wrote a couple blog posts, but how do I get published? I had all these questions coming up for me. Can I do this? Like, I was scared, imposter syndrome, so much coming up for me. Like, can I really do this? I don't know.
And you did
But
it.
and I did it. Yeah, within 4 months. Because the second, I'm a crazy person. The second I heard the name of the book, I was like, I know exactly what I need to do. I have all the guidance, I have all the support. I'll figure it out. Within 4 months, I wrote a book, designed the cover, edited it, formatted it, and got it to bestseller list within all 4 months.
That's
And
amazing. Oh
it's a
my
very
goodness.
proud moment. Thank you.
Congratulations. That's incredible. That
Woo!
is such an amazing accomplishment, especially, you know, like when you bring up, you know, having those moments of imposter syndrome and the doubts and all this rushing in because you're like, I've never done this before. I've never written a book. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, can I do this? Is it going to make a difference? But you know what? You just listed it all off right there. You know, all the experiences that you've had, right? So you talk about, you know, the childhood trauma, leaving corporate America, all of these things you put into something where someone could see that, read that and go, wow, like I can relate to this. I can connect with this. And this is something that maybe they're going through, maybe they know someone who's going through. So that I think that's amazing because especially too, like you bring up not liking to write, like not wanting to write. And it's kind of like contradicting, like someone who's like you're a published author and you're like, I hate writing. And it's like, but she wrote a book, you guys, she wrote a book and that's amazing. I love the title. And I'm going to for sure, like literally once this interview ends, I'm going to go get a copy right now and I'm going to read it and I'm going to post about it and I'm going to tell everybody like all the gems that I take away from this, because I know it's going to be amazing. And I'm just hearing you talk about it, and like hearing the passion in your voice for, the experiences that you had, and the ability to be vulnerable in that is big, and it's major. So like I just, like bow down to you for that, because I'm actually, I haven't talked about this too much, but my book is done, and I'm in the process right now of trying to get that out into the world. So I'm just like, gotta make it happen, because every time I connect with such awesome people like you, and I hear these stories of, what everyone's accomplished, it just is like, it's so motivating, and it's so inspiring, and it's so, just helpful to like, put everybody on that path of who's ever listening right now, of like where you want to go, and how you want to get there, and like what are those missing pieces, and like how to figure it all out. It just helps make it more clear, and like helps give us some more clarity on, these topics that we're getting into. So one thing that I would really love to ask you too is, talking about a difficult moment. So difficult moment you face in your life, and the lesson or lessons that you were able to learn from that moment.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the thing that comes up for me right away is the whole childhood trauma, and I go in detail about it in my book. With my father, didn't have a good relationship with my father, and then it was okay. He ended up getting sick, and he was handicapped. He like lost his tendons in his arm, and I go into detail about it in my book. Well, I had to grow up very early, which led to me having resentment for him for a very long time, because I was like, I just want to be a 10-year-old child. Why am I translating legal documents? I don't
Yeah.
want to do that. So it ended up being a lot of resentment and hate towards him with everything. And then he ended up stealing a lot of money from me. And it was just like this crazy whole ordeal. Again, it's all in the book. So the lesson that I got out of that is just don't play the victim, like understand people's roles. And it took me like a really long time, especially, I actually did an ayahuasca retreat where I went on this crazy plant journey to heal from that clarity of what my dad did to me. Like, I just wanted clarity of why that happened. What was his intentions? What was it? Because our communication wasn't great at that moment, and I just wanted some clarity. So what Mother Ayahuasca told me was like, don't blame him. Like, he is the victim. He played the victim, but see it from his point of view. And so she showed me from his point of view, as if I was like in his eyes, exactly why he did those things, why he hurt me the way that he did. And it just gave me a completely different resonance of him, and like looked at him in a completely different light, which was very beautiful. And I was like, wow, okay, I understand this now. It's not how I would have wanted it, but I understand it now. So instead, one tip that I have for everyone is like, put yourself in other people's shoes. If someone's hurt you, if someone's upset you, if you're dealing with anything where someone is implementing something on you and projecting anything on you, take a step back and put yourself in their shoes. Like, why are they doing this? Why are they teaching you this? It's always a lesson. Yeah, it sucks right now at this moment, but at the end of the day, it's a lesson. So why am I learning this lesson? Why am I going through this hard time with myself or with anyone else? What lesson is going to come out of this in order for you to grow? Because at the end of the day, you could only control yourself and your own growth. So how are you going to grow from the things that are being implemented on you? Whatever kind of trauma you might have had, how are you going to grow from it, and how are you going to learn from it?
Wow, that's so amazing. That's such a good piece of advice, because I always love asking people, if they're comfortable sharing their story related to anything trauma related, just being able to, like you said right there, look at the fact of, trying to see how you can grow from this moment, and how you can move forward from this moment, because obviously, what may have taken place and happened is not ideal, is not what you expected, not what you hoped for, not what you wanted, but it happened, right? So now what do we do tomorrow about this? What do we do in the present moment about this? And I really also like how you talk about, the ayahuasca retreat that you went on, because I also had a friend recently tell me he went on one as well. So he was telling me a little bit about that, and just, all of the like really big things that came out of that. And I think that's amazing that you have that ability, right, to sit there and say, okay, let me think about this from his point of view, his perspective. If I was him and I was in his shoes, like, why would this have happened the way it did? Why did he, react this way or treat me this way? Or why did these things go the way they did? And trying to really have that understanding, I think is so helpful in trying to move past things. Cause, especially with when you're talking about trauma, that stuff can kind of, stay and fester and just get like worse as years go on. If we don't deal with it, or if we don't feel like we can, or if we don't feel like we ever will be able to, really trying to look at it from that lens, I think is so helpful, and just like a very positive mindset, right? So like, what can we do with our life now? Because like you said, we're the ones who are making, ultimately in control of ourselves and our life and what we do, right? So, but sometimes we kind of get lost in that when we're so focused on the struggle and so focused on the pain and the grief and the loss and the shame and the humiliation. All these things can kind of make us feel hopeless or feel helpless and feel like we can't have that control. But I really love the way that you just broke that down, because it's so simple and it's so easy to understand and just very easy to follow, and just really, really love that. So yeah, that's amazing. And
Thank you. So another
yes.
thing that just popped into my head, and we kind of chatted about this earlier, just when you're in those low vibrating states, when you feel hopeless, when you feel anxious, when you feel like everything else is going wrong in your life,
Mhm.
give gratitude for the simplest things. Literally just waking up, give gratitude for that, because gratitude is the highest frequency ever out there. Right underneath love. Love is higher than gratitude, but gratitude is right up there as well. And if you just give gratitude for whatever it is whatever situation you're in, you can't help but feel good about yourself and about the situation. Yeah, it sucks right now, but what can you be grateful for in this situation? Crap, I'm stuck in traffic. Well, I'm grateful that these people are going somewhere. They have jobs, probably. It's the
Yes.
middle of the day. I'm
I'm
grateful that
grateful
they're
I have a
making jobs.
car,
Yeah,
right? Yes.
exactly. So you could always give gratitude, just like looking at it from a different perspective. And once you do that, then your eyes will be completely open to everything, and you'll start looking at life in a completely new lens.
Wow. I love that, you guys, like, cuz you guys know how big I am on gratitude over here, and so is you are as well. And I just think that's amazing to like to think about that. So like you gave a really good example right there, right? So if you're stuck in traffic, obviously, like you have somewhere to be, right? You might have an appointment, you might be late, and you're just stressed out, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss this. I'm worried, worried, worried. Thinking, what about this moment? Like there's something that we can look to and say, well, I'm here right now. I'm alive right now. I'm breathing. I have a car to drive to places. I have, there's so many things that we can look to. And it just really, really helps, like you said, shift that focus of, those feelings of stress, overwhelm. This is just like the worst thing ever in the world, to like being able to be in a better moment, in a better spot. So that really brings me to, this next question that I really want to get into with you, because it kind of relates a lot to this. So, what would you say is the hardest part about moving forward in life when we are faced with so many obstacles?
Ah, that's a full-winded question. So probably
I
just
know.
just getting started. What can you do that will get you one step closer to getting started and being on a better path? You don't have to have everything figured out. When I left corporate America, I did not have everything figured out. I just decided that I'm going to sell my apartment and put everything in storage and just kind of go with it. Go with the flow. Everything will come and fall into place. But sometimes we just need to put ourselves out there and take that leap of faith. I'm not saying quit your jobs, because we sometimes can't right now, and that's okay. Just put yourself out there in a way that's going to get you closer to your goals, whether that's taking a leap of faith, whether that's rescheduling your time, or taking a look at how much time you're spending on social media, whatever it is, just getting you that one step closer to your desired goal and that desired mindset that you're looking for. Also, it's really good to also like go for it. Just go for it. Sometimes, not necessarily, again, going back to that job thing, we don't have to 100% like quit our jobs. Just take a look at how you can be spending your time, allocating your time that you're spending, like for your job. How much time are you spending on getting your goals aligned? How much time are you spending on your mindset? It's just allocating those times, because we all have the same amount of time in the world or in a day, but just putting that time how it's supposed to be used and allocating it the right way, so your mindset's aligned, so your business is aligned, so your life's aligned essentially, and you're all balanced all together.
Wow, I really love that. Just especially the allocating time part and the just start. So I feel like that's a really important reminder too, because sometimes like like we brought up earlier, these limiting beliefs, right? So sometimes we have within ourselves these inner belief, these our inner critic, right, that bring out these limiting beliefs of I can't do this, I'm gonna fail at this, I'm not good at this, I don't know what I'm doing, and it just starts to cycle and cycle and cycle. But when you just get started, right, take that first step. If you want to start a blog, you want to start a YouTube channel, you want to write a book, you want to do something, right? So take that first step and just create your channel or start writing or whatever it is. It can be a little step. Just get started, because once you start doing it, it just everything starts falling into place. And of course, like, we're not always going to have it all figured out. We're not always going to know exactly what to do next, exactly how it's going to look. But once you just get into it and start creating and start that process, it's really, really beautiful. But then the other thing you brought up, allocating time, I think is huge, right? Because like you said, we all have the same amount of hours in the day. And when we look at our days and look at our schedules and say, okay, here's the amount of time that I spend on my phone, or here's the amount of time that I spend, working, and here's the amount of time that I spend doing this, and kind of, looking for spots in our day and trying to fit things in, right? Because I know I hear a lot, like when people are wanting to get back on track with exercising more. Sometimes the excuse we could say is, well, I don't have time, or, I'm too busy. But the thing is we could find somewhere in our day, kind of plan out some gaps, to get like 10 minutes in, like 15 minutes in, like a little quick workout and something. So like,
Do
I really like,
squats while you brush your teeth.
yes, you guys. Yes. See, it's possible. So we can find those gaps, right? And fit these things in. So, but it does take time and it does take work, so it's not always easy, because of course, it's always easier to say, well, I don't have time, or that, yeah, like it is easier, right? It does take more effort and more organization and all of these things. But once we can get started in this, we'll start having like better habits and start feeling better, and just like it'll all come full circle. So that's some amazing tips that she just gave right there, you guys. And the one last thing I want to ask you, I feel like I could just talk to you just all day long,
We'll
all
have
day
to do
long.
multiple episodes.
Yeah, we'll be on here all day long. So, but the one last thing that I really want to ask you, I love asking this question. So, if you could go back in time and offer up one piece of advice to your younger self, what would you say and why?
That's a great one. I would say don't stop having fun and allow that fun to come into doing everything that you do. Because once I was in corporate America and I was doing monotony, the same thing every single day, that wasn't fun for me at all. And that's why I hated doing the job that I was doing at the time, because I wasn't having any fun. So if you can implement some fun into every single thing that you're doing, your job, your career, your hanging out with friends, just like watching TV. If you could have some fun watching TV, not just mindlessly watching TV, I don't know, like juggle a little bit, I don't know. Do something that's going to add more fun into your daily life, then life will be so blissful and so beautiful, instead of constantly being in that monotony, doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that so much. And every time I ask this question, I always get such different answers. And that's really what I love is like, I feel like it's almost a different answer, but pretty similar every time. So I love that you bring that up, because, when you think about our days, right? And thinking about, being in this routine that we don't like, right? So maybe we might be, in a moment where we don't like what we're doing, or we don't like the job that we're in, and it just feels so boring, and every day's the same and it's on repeat. But then what we're missing, right, is that aspect of fun. Like, what can we do to make our days more fun? What can we do to just enjoy our life, right? Enjoy being here, instead of, oh, like, I have to get up and I have to go here and I have to do this and this sucks and I don't want to go. It's like, no, like, we can try to figure out ways, like little things to like implement in our days. And like, I think that's so funny. You talk about, TV, and like sit there, start juggling, or start, just like singing or like dancing, like when you're walking around. I don't know. I mean, you might look kind of weird, but you're having fun.
But
Like,
you're
you're enjoying your
having fun.
life. Like, you're just happy to be here, and I think that's really important, because I have definitely been there myself. Definitely 100% been there, where I was like not happy at all, just kind of just felt like every day was the same and it was all blending together. And I'm just like, man, like, how am I gonna just keep is this the way it's going to be forever? Is this just how life is? But no, we can add in so many fun things, so many fun moments, so many fun people, experiences, all of it. And you guys, just talking to Anya right now and like hearing her story, like she really is that living testimony because, making that big switch, of course, from, being corporate America, and you were working in design, right? Corporate America and
Yeah, I was design and marketing. Yep.
design and marketing, right? So for 10 to 15 years and then saying, you know what, I'm going to take 5-year break, sell my apartment, pack up all my stuff and just travel. I'm just going to do that. It is a risk and it is scary and it is that leap, but she did it, you guys. She did it and she's found such a rewarding career, loves what she's doing. Loves the clients she works for, the people she serves, and of course, the other thing we kind of got into too is that book, right? Being that published author, and for someone who hates writing, who doesn't like writing, like she made it happen. She put her story out there, and that's why I always encourage you guys, like listening, like if you have a story and if you have something you really want to share and you feel called to do that, like you're getting all these messages like she said, mentioning, getting in that massage and having that the writing message keep coming up and keep coming up and keep coming up. If you're feeling that, just go for it, try it out, start that book, start that blog, start that channel, start that podcast, start whatever it is, just go for it. And and along the way you'll start to learn more, grow more through these experiences and just figure it all out. And, of course, it's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be, like fun every single day all the time, but it's a process. It's something that, can be very, very fun, very, very enjoyable and just absolutely amazing. So I love this episode. I love talking to you. You're amazing. You're incredible, you guys. And tell everybody, Anya, where can they find you? Where can they like get more of you?
Thank you so much, Fairjan. It's been so wonderful talking to you. I could talk to you all day as well. We'll have to catch up other times.
Yes.
So I am on Facebook at Anya Halama, on Instagram at Anya Travels, and you could get my new book at rebelsguide to spirituality.com, just like the title.
Yes, you guys, there it is. So be sure to check her out. She's amazing, such a beautiful person, and her Facebook page, and you have an amazing community on there as well. Like, I love your post and all the stuff she shares, you guys. It's just really, really great way just to kind of get you in the zone to have a good day and to be in this, excited and more positive mindset. So she's just a really good person to go to for all of that. So I just want to say thank you to you one more time, Anya, for coming out here on Crooked Illness and sharing the story and all the awesome tips you did today and just all of it. It's been so much fun.
Thank you so much, Paris. It was a pleasure.
Yes. All right. So on that note, you guys, I'm going to end the episode here and say goodbye to you guys. I think it's whether it's the morning time, nighttime, whatever time you're listening to. Hope that you guys have a great rest of the day. And I'm going to say goodbye to Anya. So bye.